on the agenda is a presentation from Liam about proposed landscaping around the Chet Tyson gazebo.
Hi, Liam. I have a brochure. This is a map of proposed plans around the gazebo, and then the fountain there. I have a small one.
So I have and I printed that one out, so thank you.
And then here
Ooh, this, yeah. So do you want to?
Thank you. Thank you. That's where, this is where it is.
Right, exactly. There's all those.
Forward.
Yeah, right. Do you want to walk us through what you're proposing?
Sure. So first, what we'll probably be doing is removing, some of the stuff that's there. We're going to leave the boxwoods alone, and then we're also going to leave behind here so we can put gravel down. Then we're going to put in the Belgian block edging, which is this purple line. After that, we'll probably put the mulch down, the gravel, and then we'll probably do the gravel from this and the gravel around the fountain the same day. And then once we do that, we're going to start painting or planting of it. We're going to plant all in here. And then after that, we'll fix up the bench and do the memorial plaque for Mr. Caravallis.
Oh, okay. And you're going to put brick or,
Yeah.
as like a base where the fountain is?
Yeah.
Super. It would be nice not to have a mud puddle there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
So Liam, did you work with the Shade Tree Commission on some ideas with this?
Yeah.
That's all of that? So you've had
About the planning and everything.
Tell us about the Belgian block. What size would it be?
It'll be about that big, maybe that big, and they're just stone blocks that what we're going to do is dig, I believe it's 3 inches. They should be about 3 inches tall, so we'll dig 2 inches, 2.5 inches in, and then we'll put them in and then set them in there. Fill in the dirt. They should stay in there because they're pretty hefty. And then we'll put the mulch down, and then.
Who's Mr. Caravallis?
He was my old cub master. He was a contractor around here. For a few years, he was cub master for
A painter?
for like 10 or so years. And then he was on a job one day, and he went to go get something from the truck and had a heart attack. And he was pronounced dead at the hospital. Which was
Caravallis was a painting contractor. He was in his early 50s. He might have been right around age 50. And I think it was last summer when he died.
He ran marathons, and he was always
He
working on
looks
stuff.
very fit.
Yeah, it was very surprising.
Well, it's such a really nice way to honor him.
Yeah. And the Shade Tree Commission talked with you about the types of
Yeah, they
perennials?
wanted, they didn't say specifically what they wanted, so I found these and then sent them to them. But they did want natural plantings, so these are all native to the area. Corner's probably back here, but just a little bit to the corner. Yeah.
It's really like a nice balanced plant.
Yeah.
Beautiful plantings. Trees.
Sean and Matt, do you guys have any comments on it? I'm thinking just, your question about where this ends. I'm thinking, does it have any impact at all on the maintenance the public works guys would be doing in the park? I went and looked at this with your proposal yesterday, and I didn't see anything that jumped out at me, but didn't know if there's anything you can think of that would be of concern.
Liam, has the Shade Tree Commission seen this plan?
Yes.
And you think that's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking more in terms of any other maintenance that has to happen in the area. I couldn't see any reason to alter this at all, but I didn't.
No, in terms of demo, removing what's there, have you specified that in your,
Yeah.
you have like a project schedule or something?
Yeah.
Describe
Yeah, there it is right there. I asked some
There's on the
about
other
it.
side too, is there not?
There's a pine tree over
Yeah, there's
here.
a pine tree, but it's over here, it's outside of this.
There is something here that's
Oh,
kind
no,
of.
we took that down when we did
When we were getting ready for the,
no, when we did the electric,
Oh.
electric.
yes.
Sorry.
There is a bush type thing right here that's gonna probably go, so it doesn't look too nice.
What is sourwood? Is that a?
It's sourwood is gonna replace it.
Okay.
But it's like right there.
Yeah, that whatever is there right now,
Yeah, it's kind
kind
of.
of.
I'm not.
Well,
We weren't quite sure if it was dead.
Yeah.
Or what was going
I
on.
know, I looked at it and I was like, I don't even remember if that was a leaf last spring or not, so.
How long do you think the project will take to
Um,
do?
probably 3 or 4 weekends. Like we'll come down for a day and work on it. There'll be kids from the troop coming down with me. Maybe a few friends from outside the troop. The Belgian block will probably be just older guys because that'll be easier to make sure it's neat and straight.
Do you have anybody on your team who can supervise your planting and so forth? Is that your responsibility?
That's going to be my responsibility. I'm going to be more supervising and directing the work, and then everyone else is kind of. I'm going to work, but they're going to be kind of split up into groups to work on different.
Have you done any landscape installation before?
Not really. Besides other like Eagle Scout projects that are similar to being.
There will be some adults there as well, overseeing things and pitching in when we have to.
Yeah. I don't doubt your capabilities, but there's a few do's and don'ts with planting things, so. If you haven't done it before, a quick, someone who's done it a lot could help.
Okay.
Could help you and then communicate that to your team, and you can get that much more efficient.
Have you thought about what will need to be watered after the project's
Yeah.
complete?
It's not actually on this map, but what we're going to set up is a. Let's see,
Sprinkler hose?
yeah, a sprinkler hose. And we're going to set it up around there and connect it to the existing one.
So it will look automatic? Or will you come down and turn it on from the sun?
I'm not sure about that just yet.
Because it can be so hot in the summer.
Yeah.
The perennials don't, the annuals don't get water. Well, there are annuals.
No, they're
but
annuals, they're all
it's
perennials, but in this
but
first
still, in
year,
the first cycle, they don't get watered.
Yeah.
Struggling.
I mean, once they're established, so by next year, they'd be fine.
Yeah.
Or, whatever kind of weather we have pretty much, but in that initial year, you do need to water.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the suggestion, Sean, of talking to somebody who's done some gardening on this scale to
Mm-hmm.
just, get their thoughts on the best way to go about the process of taking care of this. Well, I think it's a wonderful idea, and I'm really thrilled that you chose us and you're doing this project. I think it's great. It will certainly make this a much more attractive. The gazebo's ugly, but it will make it
Yeah.
much more attractive.
Get some
For
color.
folks coming, and for folks coming into the park, so it's great. Madushan, can you think of anything else?
I think it's good.
Super. Sam, good job, yes, good job. And, we need to work with Sean and Matt as you are ready to get started on it, let them know when you're gonna be working
Yeah.
and all of that.
You have my email address and we can coordinate that way?
Yep.
Okay.
Steve, one more question.
Sure.
I'm one of the scout masters from Korea. My name's Mike. Most of the funding is going to be covered by the 4th of July committee, and so Glenn Gray is one who we've been working with. And he wanted me to ask if there was any funding through the committee that might fund some of the project. Just throwing that out there, I didn't know if there was any funding available.
We have dollars in Parks and Open Space.
July committee, but we have 17,000 for parks and open space maintenance, so that just has to cover everything that the borough does to maintain all of its parks and open spaces in the year.
Could we just say that there's, some funding that will come from the borough, and then we can, determine what the amount would be later?
I think we should hear what we're talking about and what you want, what your proposal is.
Okay.
I can entertain.
Yeah, I'd rather have a hard request, like this is what we would like from the borough, and have that instead of just an open-ended.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we're amenable to it, but I would prefer to have a, do your math and see what, if you're coming up short at all, and what that value would be.
Yeah.
And then come back and take it from there.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Have to figure out what the procedures are.
The first weekend will probably be late March, early April. We'll probably start.
It's coming up.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Good luck with it.
Yes, thank you.
Everybody, thank you.
You're
You're
welcome.
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we keep at least one copy of this, or something? I'm thinking for other council members, when, if anybody wants to look at it, then we'll mention it tonight at the council meeting.
PDF, so that's-
Yeah, I couldn't open the PDFs.
Yeah,
I know, I was like, I don't.
Try and type it on. Every once in a while, PDFs don't want to behave, so, yeah. Yeah. Good luck with that. Yeah, we just keep that one in office, somebody wants to use, and I have your map, so somebody wants to see.
Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you, you're welcome, thank you. Bye, Liam. Okay. So, there's Charlie. He's stuck in a meeting and will be done by 7 Eastern time. I'll send a dial in to Sean and Matt for the caucus group, so.
He said he has or will.
He will. Yeah. Like, wait a minute, no, he hasn't. Okay, the second item on the agenda was, was a Shade Tree Commission update if one was needed. I had, an email exchange with the Trails. He and Jim Quinn and some other folks from the Recreation Board, just walked around where they were proposing to plant the trees. They walked around on Sunday, and the Recreation Board thought those were all great locations. So there are the 5 locations. There's one behind the library, one outside the Sandy Playground, one inside the Sandy Playground to help shade some of the play equipment, and then 2 behind the bleachers to replace some aging pines. Looking at it, I'm pretty sure it's running along Windsor, not Windsor, I'm sorry, Wynwood. So anyway, that's, what they're proposing to do, and I think, it's gonna happen soon when they have the trees, so, wonderful. I'm thrilled to have some trees showing. The next item is, an update on from the Recreation Board, and the first thing that I want to mention though is that at the February 15th council meeting, council adopted the ordinance that reestablishes the Recreation Board. So we now have a Recreation Board ordinance that fits with actually the century that we're in, since the old one was from 1929. So anyway, and then Kimberly is going to give us a brief update from the February 16th Recreation Board meeting.
Yes, thank you. Really quick, so the first thing that, well, it was very nice that Bob attended on behalf of the property committee. We really appreciated that. Aaron also came as council president and just gave us some insight into expectations about how the budget works and that type of thing. So that was really helpful to guide us. For the summer recreation program, of all the options that we've discussed, the majority of the members thought that transitioning it to the umbrella of the NAA was the most realistic option to try to get something on the calendar for this year. And the Narberth Athletic Association expected that they would look at completely restructuring the program just to make it more user-friendly and meet the needs of the parents and the community better based on feedback that they've received. You already talked about the Shade Tree Commission, but Jim did meet with Rick and they walked to the fields and Jim provided Rick with some feedback from the rec board about the trees that they're proposing placing at the fields. Tentatively, we want to have some type of draft of a strategic plan by August, so we'll be trying to work towards that. But more immediate is at the March 16th meeting, we are inviting all the current shareholders of the rec spaces to come to our meeting, and we're going to solicit suggestions, feedback. We're going to review usage and use that information to try to see if the current setup of the fields is working, or if that's something we need to begin to look at. And then the last thing is the rec board expressed some concern about the fact that we sent to you some recommendations after our November meeting about some emergent things that need to be addressed, maintenance, and that nothing of those emergent things has been done yet. So we were hoping to get a little bit, I guess, direction about when we can expect those initial emergent things to be addressed. So that's it. Thanks.
And then just to tag on to Kimberly's report, I suggested that the property committee think about adding those maintenance issues just onto the bottom of this, on the bottom of this agenda, under the items where there's no discussion plan, just so that they can just have a home that's can be used, so that people, because part of the concern of the rec board is that they felt like they didn't know did anybody have the list. So this way, at least they know where everyone resides, and if there's any time frames that can be created about when things will happen, that could be noted there in that running list for discussion. At least until there's some other mechanism.
Yeah.
So I just thought, so I think I emailed you that.
Yeah, you did, and
Just to attach the
And
list of the.
And is it the whole list or just the maintenance list?
Just
'Cause
the
there's
maintenance. Just the maintenance.
Just the maintenance, not the other items. Because there
Yeah, I mean, at the November meeting, we created
Yeah,
two
that's what
different
I had.
things, right? We
Mhm.
created a list of maintenance recommendations, and then a list of
Oh, you have the
long-term,
maintenance items.
short-term.
well, yes and no, that's where I brought, this is the, so
Did you
there's,
look at this list and see if that's the.
no, that list came
That's
from.
old, right?
Came from my walking around with Jim Quinn, and a lot of, around the park, and a lot of the issues that are on there are also on your list. But your list has some things that aren't
It's much
On
more
the-
comprehensive than what we created in November.
sections, so,
Okay, so could you just cut and paste this here?
well,
That way we don't have to have this conversation over and
Well,
over and over again, it just lives here.
right, we'll put them there, but this also, I mean, I know that I passed this list on to Sean and he passed it on to Fran, so it's not like the list didn't make its
No,
way.
that's not the issue.
Well-
Aaron explained that this is
Right.
gonna happen when it happens, and
Right.
that the office is working that through.
Mhm.
The issue is that it resides someplace, so we don't have to hear this over and over and over again. Did you know that X, Y, and Z needs attending to?
Yes,
It's like, yes, it's on the list.
Yeah.
That's all. We
Well-
know the office is dealing with it.
okay.
We know that. That's internally, that's understood. But it's a communication issue.
And I get that,
Yeah,
I
okay.
get that, but where I was going with this is, I didn't want anybody to think that the only place this appears is on this agenda. It has been passed to the office and passed to,
I think the other issue is a lot of users in the community who see quick fixing, a lot of things that we've already identified, we're just waiting for them to be addressed. So when I have parents that know I'm on the rec board come to me and tell me about something, I'm like, yes, I know, I'm sorry, we've already identified this in November, we're just waiting for it to be addressed. So just getting the word out to the community that we are aware of these things.
Mhm.
We just need them to be addressed. So I guess that's more of the thing we keep hearing on our end, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
Does the rec board keep minutes?
Yes.
Could we include those on property committee minutes as an attachment?
Ooh, if that's where you guys would like them to be, sure. That was on my list of things, at some point when,
Since it reports to the property
I'd like it
committee.
there. That'd be
yeah,
great.
that's fine with me. I didn't know if you were gonna create a separate spot for,
I
no?
don't think so.
Okay.
If we just attach it as an attachment.
Sure.
Matt, would you
It's
like,
actually a great idea for,
Yeah,
if
for
there
all
are
of them.
notes from planning commission, they could be attached to building and zoning minutes. Or
Shade tree commission, all of those.
all of it could be just,
Yeah.
would you like to be
Consolidate.
CC'd, or
Yeah.
do you
Not
want it to
building,
come
not
from
planning.
Barbara? Like, when we, because we
Oh,
copy
how do you
it.
want it?
There's no need to create middle people.
Okay,
Well,
that's
keep them
cool.
separate too.
You know, once they're adopted,
yeah,
you know,
there's links.
Okay.
forward them to me and I'll add them to our process.
Because, I got a final copy of the minutes today.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to forward it. I guess Jim really would be doing that. I can, suggest that he copy you on our
Yeah, that'd be
minutes
great.
when we send them out.
So are you-
Actually, like, what, Michelle made a good point, that might make it harder to find, but I was just thinking that regardless of where it resides, there can still be as many links as you need. So if somebody's looking for property, rec board notes or minutes, there can be a link there that takes them to the property committee notes, or somebody's looking for planning commission notes, there's a link that takes them. So it's just it's a library science question, like what's the best way to
Yeah. Yeah, I have to think.
organize the data?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, should rec board have its own little home, like, along with all the committees, or
Yeah.
with our own set of minutes? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
trying to
Anything-
think.
The thing is that
I was looking.
anything's Google.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't
easy.
matter where it goes.
Well, it does,
Maybe that makes
where it
sense.
matters is, where is it going to be easy for people to find it? And as somebody just in the general public, I don't know that they would know, oh, the rec board goes through the property committee. And that the minutes would be attached to the property committee minutes, which are gonna be
I agree.
That's
I
just-
agree with
Well,
that.
the point I'm making
Yeah.
is that, we live in the age of hyperlink, and so it doesn't really matter where the file resides.
Yep.
It just matters if there's a library of links.
Yeah, but if there isn't a large.
All right, so Matt,
Just
we can
round that.
definitely send those to you. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I got the gears turning.
Thank
That's
you.
the best way to
Yeah,
make that
Yeah.
happen.
super, all right, so that's not something I need to do then.
Okay. Yeah, I can email Jim and
But I think,
pass that
I'm gonna
along.
speak for Sean and I and say, I think we share your frustration with that. And we feel like we're just finally getting to that spot where we can start managing these things, Sean used the example of, the first years like batten down the hatches and ride out the storm just to see what's going on. We made it through the storm, we're starting to open up the hatches, and now we're able to start really identifying the best ways to go about doing these things and come up with a maintenance plan. There seems to be a history of reactionary improvements in planner types, kind of like to have a bigger picture of, okay, what do we have? Sean and I were just talking about this over dinner. We really need to focus on those things that we already own. We have not been a good steward of those things that we own as a borough, right? And so my personal philosophy is that if we expect residents to adhere to a certain level of quality and property maintenance, the borough itself hasn't been doing that either. So who are we to ask that, right? And so that's where that's core to the philosophy of making sure that we take care of those things that we are supposed to be taking care of, making sure that the park is as maintained as possible, making sure that our sidewalks are maintained as possible. That's going to take a lot of time, right? And so you're going to see on the agenda tonight that there is our next, we have a traffic engineer RFQ, which is close to being completed. And so we can only manage one thing at a time with the RFQ thing. The next one is going to be that capital improvement list, and through that that's what we want to use as identifying everything that we have, the state of repair of everything we have, and then through that come up with a plan to maintain those things. It's been done. Municipalities have done it, and
could just add one thing. If there's one wish list emergent thing that the rec board would love to see addressed, it's having the graffiti removed down at the ball field. Because
Shelby?
with
Go
things
ahead.
getting ready to start with, toddler t-ball and coffee and all that. Okay.
Have you been down there?
Is it gone? Okay, good. I haven't been down there since I biked there.
Well, that's cross out.
Yay, we can check it off the list, and I will be happy to pass that along.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
I took a walk down there to field verify it. Funny thing, yesterday.
Aha.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that is.
All right,
Thank you
well, that's
much.
so exciting.
I really
And
appreciate
just,
that,
just
yeah.
so you and Sean know, it was my feeling that Aaron represented very well to the rec board what you
Good.
said just now.
Yes, I agree.
Would you agree?
Yes.
It's just a difficult spot for us to be in
Yeah.
because there's so much going on, not to make excuses, but these sorts of things, Sean and I are both very deliberate in making sure we make decisions for the greater good, right? And it's catching on. I feel like we're just getting to that point where it's good things we can do.
Well, that's going to make everyone's day. Thank you very much.
Yes, yeah.
Great
thanks.
news.
Very excited about that. Can we,
Go ahead.
Thank
can
you,
we-
Sean.
Can we announce that tonight? Council meeting, I think.
Very.
Somebody went out there and put more
Well,
graffiti.
yeah, all right, we'll say, yeah, we'll make that caveat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting.
There was one other note provided, Bob, from the rec board meeting about understanding, helping when we start with the master planning consultants, so the rec board can understand how they're.
Oh, just that.
And you mentioned PDFs, but I think, did you mean RFQs?
Yeah, all right. I mean, that just occurred to me when the rec would start asking questions about the master planning process, that it's hard to answer the questions because it's still yet to be, because the RFPs, yet to be, the RFP is yet to be written. And so we don't really know how all the pieces fit together and anything like that. So that's kind of what I said. I said, I advised them that most likely someone would help them understand how they plug into that process at the appropriate time. And that it probably,
And that's the,
and that would be managed by the office, not by the property committee,
Yeah.
where it's really coming through to the administration.
and that's the facilities assessment capital improvement work, not the comprehensive plan, because
Sorry, not the comprehensive plan, the master plan, the facilities.
when you say master plan, I wasn't sure, because some people refer to the comprehensive plan as the master plan. I know, and that's what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure. Okay, super. That makes sense. Okay,
Great.
anything else
No.
from the rec board? All right, does the rec board feel like it would be useful, and you don't necessarily have to answer, but useful for someone from the property committee to continue to come? I
I think for now, that worked really well,
Yeah.
just to work through some initial questions that we had.
Yeah,
The next meeting is just going to be a shareholder meeting, so it's going to be
Mm.
more of
yes,
other people talking
yeah,
and
yeah,
us listening. So I don't really know if it's necessary at that meeting,
Yeah.
but
good point.
follow-up
Yeah.
meeting, I would say, the April meeting.
Yeah, yeah, that would make sense. Okay,
Thanks.
all right, we'll put our heads together, the three of us, and see who, pick one of us to come to the April meeting then.
What day would
I just wanna verify that that's gonna go through, because the truss work and the roof repairs are two pretty significant expenditures.
Yep,
Before we entertain any other ones.
sure.
Were you implying that like you're beginning to think about asphalt for Savannah Avenue parking lot?
I'm coming to the realization that there are so many repair issues in the parking lot out there that we should be looking at repaving the parking lot. And I know that has been talked about for some time now, and I'm more concerned now than I have been in the past about just making it a safe place for people to walk.
And I
It's
guess
just our duty to do that.
Yeah, and I guess I just have a request that when you're looking at that, if you could think about it in terms of what, like paving as little as possible to accomplish the goal. Like
I'm already there. I'm already thinking about, can we saw cut down the facing parking spaces and make a tree trench out of it, and put curb stops there, and have some more tree cover up there, green up the lot a little bit, within reason, within our budget, within our resources.
And the other thought was that there's a kind of a, maybe 10 or 12 or 15 parking spaces that are along the edge of the parking lot that's next to the building. And then kind of create a, I guess, a walkway to the back playground for the kids. And I was just wondering if there's any way that that could be narrowed, slimmed down to be like an appropriate dimension, and actually reconfigure, restrike the laning differently, so it's a more efficient use of the asphalt that we have, and thereby reduce maybe hundreds of square feet of asphalt, and like actually even right size, maybe there's even a portion of the asphalt to the playground side that doesn't need to be done at this time, that could actually be brought in. Say, I'm just wondering if you would look at it that way.
Yeah, I wanna weigh it as in an exploratory as fashion as I can immediately. Like call a paving contractor and ask them, hey, flat, easy accessible parking lot, what's your ballpark per square foot quote look like? I won't get a straight answer. We'll have to come out and look at it, that kind of thing. But once I get my head around what that looks like and what the space looks like, I can make some decisions about what the best direction to go in, what's the best value for the borough, considering these options. It's not just, I understand it's not just going to be a pave what's up there, paint and replace. If there are ways to improve the way the space works and behaves and its ecosystem services and all those factors, that's the perfect time to consider it without blowing it up into a full-blown
Yeah.
monster capital project.
Sure.
It takes up a lot of our time, because really at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is address health safety issues.
Yeah.
For a few
For a
years.
few
Yeah,
years.
until we know what's up with that property.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, that's reassuring.
that makes sense. Anything else at either Sabine or any other property that?
No, I think we talked about the planning consultant is the next RFQ in our breach to look at, and our hope is to meet on Friday, Matt and I, and then come up with a game plan for next week that'll get us to the 15th with recommendation to council for traffic engineer. So if we can stick to that schedule, that'll be a challenge, but I think if we can stick to that schedule,
Then you'll have space for
then
the next one.
we'll be ready to move on, yeah.
Yeah.
Or we'll be ready, even if we don't serve it up by then, we'll be ready, the hard work will be in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
And we might be able to consider the consultant, capital planning consultant RFP, because I budget off of and say, this is about what your life cycle cost is for your HVAC system. These should be your annual expectations. This is what you should be putting aside for replacement at some point. We can factor those into an annual sort of facilities state of repair
Yeah,
improvement program.
yeah. Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, the tour thing.
Kind of like what you do for your house.
Yeah, and we're really focused on facilities, but we want to stress the fact that we also have active and passive open spaces that we're responsible for. We also have we also have all the streets and roads. We're the biggest landowner in the borough. And the things we don't see too are very valuable and important. Our sanitary and storm sewer systems. So those will all get plugged into our plan at some various stages, and we're still trying to figure out what professional can get us to that give us the data to make those decisions. I don't think we're going to be doing much with 100 Conway Avenue in the spring of 2017, just
Okay.
judging the way things are
Yeah,
going.
that was your best guess as of, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago or something. So would you like me to change it to summer or fall, or what are you thinking?
I only have preliminary thoughts at this point, so
Slated for later in 2017?
yes, later is the best I can do.
That's fine. Yeah, I was just trying to look for the adjectives, yes. Okay. The next item was to start a kind of a brainstorming discussion about the municipal parking lots. The one at 100 Conway and the one at 201 Sabine. And really, at this point, just kind of, what would we like them used for? Kind of just, what are the different uses and what might we want to see them used for down the road? And the only thing I've ever used 100 Conway for was to park there when I was coming to a meeting or something in Borough Hall. So I know a lot of people use it for a lot of different things, other things, but
I'd kind of like to suggest we table this discussion until after the parking reports.
oh, okay.
Because, it's.
That's fair.
They're
Charlie had asked us to
they're
start
linked,
talking
so
about
I
them,
don't
so.
know that,
We have brought that up in a couple of meetings too. We are emphasizing that when it's not just on the street, but we would like some management strategies for using
Right.
those two parking lots. And they were also incorporated in their assessment.
Sure. Yeah, we can, I'm fine either way. I was
kind of like
responding to.
anything I suggest to be in reference to what we learned, and since,
Sure,
yeah,
that's fine.
seems that everybody has opinions, and
Yep.
Whose opinions are credible, that's why we got reference to.
Yep, yep, understood. Anything else? Any comments from the public? Go for it, Kimberly.
I had sent an email to you guys about the Legion Room, and I was hoping to get an update about, I know a while back there was some discussion about taking the facilities policy that had been created for this room and trying to find a way to customize it for the community building. So I was hoping to get an update on where things stand with the facilities policy of those two spaces in the community building.
The framework for use of 100 Conway Avenue can be easily adopted to the Girl Scout room, and I think that we're at a point where we've comfortably had a verbal agreement with representatives of the Girl Scout
to schedule a mayor's candidate forum in May, and due to the availability of the two candidates for mayor, and the moderator and others, we were down to May 4th. The large room here was unavailable with no flexibility of the group using that to move. The Girl Scout room was unavailable. This was our other option, but we need a much bigger space. So after multiple attempts to try to contact John, we were having a hard time. So I guess our question was, like, what's the contingency plan for when John is unavailable to answer emails, et cetera, just to get an answer in the future for maybe using that space.
There isn't an answer for it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we hear you, and we want to improve the way that works.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have a comment? All right, well, the property committee is adjourned. Thanks. Yes. Okay, I'm sorry.
5-minute thing.
Sure.
The current user agreement for 100 Conway Avenue, what I have at this time is a framework around which the committee can have a short discussion right now and/or
Oh, okay.
take these home for homework and send me your comments. It is just a bullet point list with some headers as to what would go into the agreement, how to structure it. And my thought is to have a conversation here and then with you individually, and then send those ideas packaged to John, the solicitor, and have him draft something, and then we can broach a topic with Alyssa and Shannon at New Horizons, maybe at the next property committee meeting, invite them to attend ahead of time and discuss with them what we're thinking.
Okay,
Does that sound like a
sure.
plan?
That
Okay.
sounds like a plan, yeah.
So this is what I have.
Okay.
Take a minute to absorb it, it's fresh off the press. Terms and conditions of the agreement, and then administrative matters as to how the agreement's executed and how parties terminate the agreement or move in and out of the agreement. And procedures for any damages, kind of standard boilerplate.
So this is kind
Piece
of,
information.
this is kind of, I think you're envisioning this would be a little bit of an expansion on what's in the current policy, because that was set up with the idea that it's applying mostly to one-time use.
Yeah.
And so this would be, it would be more that folks would have to.
Yeah, so if you're one of those
address.
recurrent users of this space, is one of the heavier
Mhm.
routine repeat users, and
Right.
Verizon isn't the only one,
Right.
they are the major one.
Right, exactly.
By a lot.
Right.
Um,
And so
That
there's,
that we work it out with them first.
Right.
And we use that as framework to approach the other lesser.
this in a sense kind of becomes almost an addendum to the existing policy, or the existing policy is addendum to this, but it's like a,
Gives administration and council a way to interface with those kinds of groups that want to use the space.
yes.
So I have some thoughts.
Sure.
I should see a grid that shows, say, base value for the big
That's
room,
amazing.
for the council room,
Kid, what was it?
the side room, I don't know what we call these rooms, but for the various spaces, like a base value for that. Basically, like, it could be an hourly, like, it doesn't necessarily, I don't mean necessarily a dollar amount, but I mean a factor of some kind. Like assign it some value, okay? And then when a user says, well, we're gonna use the large room and the small room and the conference room, we're gonna use them for 6 hours every day recurrently, there's a multiplier that goes onto that. And then if they're gonna use storage, depending on how many square feet of storage they use, there's some kind of multiplier on the storage. And then if there are, so modifications of the contract over time because, you know, it's not specified, because it's too loose. So that's just one thought about how we might kind of start a discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you envisioning that there would be some standard language that we would be providing to folks when we're working on one of these recurrent user agreements? So some standard language around.
I would expect John to
Okay.
draft something for us once, and then we can.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can
well, no,
find and replace.
as opposed to asking them to draft something, was where
Yeah.
I was going with that. So you're looking at our having something to give to them to say,
Yeah.
okay, here's what you, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I think that's a great idea. Do you need something from us to proceed, or? is
Well,
this-
it's not fair to give you something at the table and expect you to come up with brilliant insights on the spot. So get back to me with any suggestions individually by email as to what you think belongs there or
Okay,
structure-wise, and I'll wait, let's say a week,
okay.
maybe by the 8th, then I'll have a conversation with John Waldo and forward it to him. And if I make any changes to what you see